Maayong adlaw, this is Stephanie Repolio. Welcome to Women's Economic Realities, a podcast series uplifting lived realities and experiences of rural and indigenous peasant women in the discourse of regenerative economic framework. Social and economic inequality falls under the backdrop of colonial oppression and neoliberalism in the Philippines. This is evident in the stories and aspirations, including memories and frustrations, of rural and indigenous peasant women participating in this project. This podcast is a glimpse of their reality. For you, how important are the ancestral lands in the lives of indigenous people?
Land is important to indigenous people because we depend on land for our lives, our source of livelihood.
Tapos dito tayo source of livelihood. Tapos talagang ano na yung sabi ng lakay na yun?
Then, as what Old Man said, the life of an indigenous person is connected to land.
Lupa, although na merong mga
there are still big mining companies coming and still operating, our lives is still connected to the land.
Lupa.
Babalik nga tayo doon sa usapin ng
Going back to the issues they are facing.
Alam naman natin na the remaining
we know very well the remaining riches of Cordillera is in the ancestral lands of the indigenous people.
And so, syempre, pag dinadala ang mga
Of course, if mining will come with these dams, they have no choice but to oppose it.
Kundi mag-oppose. Yun nga, babalik ulit tayo dun sa sinasabi.
Let us go back to the saying, land is life. Your life revolves around the land.
Nagkukumahog kang i-develop.
Then you scramble to develop it so you can improve your livelihood because government services are inadequate.
Yung kabuhayan.
The Cordillera people roam around.
Kasi napakadali.
It was
kasi
easy to start new settlement.
For example, kung hindi maganda yung buhay
Like
nila,
for example, if life is hard in one settlement, they can just go.
Kasi
Because the kind of agriculture they practiced back then is what was called rotating agriculture. That after a period of time, say, 4 cropping seasons, they leave the settlement to allow the land to rejuvenate its fertility.
Palo yung lupa at ulit siya, yung fertility. So they transfer to another settlement. That is why the concept of land ownership was non-existent back then. The only thing they really consider is their territory where they are staying at the time. Yung territory nila kung saan sila nakatira. Kasi yan, pero nga, we can trace again.
We can trace it to the land titling here.
Dito. So,
just like in the community we just went to. The titling of the land in Benguet began in the 1990s.
Kung yung sa ibang interior
In the interior areas, titling started in the 1940s, just after the war, during the Commonwealth government.
Nag-umpisa na yung tax declaration.
Tax declaration started. Surveying of the land started.
Ganon. Kaya doon yung mga
Therefore, only those who can read and write knew about this.
Magbasa at magsulat. Kaya biglang sila lupa na daw.
That is why suddenly there were land claims but were under the other people's name.
Sa pangalan nila. Na ganun. So, iyan yung isang
that is a big problem our communities are facing.
Kasi yung entire mountains
because the entire
nila,
mountains
pag-aari
where they
ng isang
reside
tao,
is suddenly owned by just one person according to the titles.
pala.
That is
Talaga
why
yun.
the concept of ancestral land is
Kasi
gone.
yan nga, itong base kasi,
The
itong
economic base has
kasi
totally
talaga
turned
yung
around.
nag-turn na.
So everything has turned
Nag-turn na
around.
lahat. Pati yung mga
Even their
paniwala
beliefs.
nila. Ang ano ngayon na is to work
The
for
practices
yourself,
now is to work for
to-
yourself to improve.
Katulad ngayon, pupunta ka sa ano, yung mga houses.
Now,
ang
the
malaki,
houses
tapos
are big
may
and
mga
gated.
gate na, no? Noon kasi bawal yan eh. Walang nag-ano ng
Building
concrete
concrete
ka na mga
fences was not
nun.
allowed
Kung
before.
gagawa sila ng fence,
You
for
only
the
build
animals,
fences for the
para
animals.
hindi sila kung sa doon sa
In our
puntahan
community, some of the rice fields are not planted anymore because the people have shifted livelihoods.
Halos nakapag-aral
Most have
na yung
acquired
mga tao.
education,
Wala.
or they are in business, or they go abroad.
Ang laki talaga
There
ng
is already big influence on
ng
it.
mga ito. Tapos, pag itong mga
Those who were able to go
nag-a-abroad,
abroad,
papagawa na sila
they are
ng
building
bahay
houses
doon
here,
sa mga
in cities, in town centers.
ganun.
So yun,
So
simple
there,
lang naman ang,
the
ano,
indigenous
ng
people
buhay
are
na
just
hinihingi
asking
ng
for a simple life.
katutubo eh. Like, let us, allow us
Let
to
us steal
till
our lands.
Allow
us to own our
lands.
ancestral
Parang,
lands.
Huwag kayong magdala ng
Do not bring
manggugulo
trouble
dito
here.
kasi
We
masaya
are
kami
happy,
sa,
you know.
the, ano nang, hindi naman
They're
sila
not aiming to become
nag-a-agenda
rich.
na yumaman, ganyan. As long as yung kanilang
As long
way of
as you
life
do not
nila
disturb
hindi-
their way of life.
Hindi na nadidistorbo.
Minuhay mo ang diwami, laling siwak chinilimi. Minuhay mo ang diwami, laling siwak chinilimi. Una kaya-kaya, una kaya-kaya, ay! Una kaya-kaya, una kaya-kaya, ay!
Para naman sa mga kababaihang magsasaka.
As a woman
ano ang
farmer,
mga
what do you think are the
tingin niyo
most important
napakahalagang
resources and
pagkakaari
tools
ng
to improve your
paano
lives and
mabuhay
livelihood?
ang buhay ninyo at kabuhayan?
Of course, it is important. You can be proud if you have your own land. You cannot be called a farmer if you don't have a land of your own.
Pagka wala kang sariling lupa,
If you do
hindi
not
ka
own the land you are tilling,
makakapag-desisyon
you cannot
kung
make a decisions
ano
as to
talaga
what
ang
to do,
dapat mong
what to
gawin,
plant,
dapat
how to
mong
plant.
itanim, pamamaraan ng pagtatanim.
Pero yung aming lupa doon ay kinukultiba namin.
But the land we are
Hindi pa din
tilling,
namin
we still
masasabi.
cannot say it
Pero
is
kami,
ours.
Hindi namin masasabi
Because we do not
sariling
have the
amin
papers
dahil
yet.
Wala pang papel. Pero iyon ay hindi naman
But no one can
makukuha
take
ng
it away
iba
from
dahil
us
kami
because we are protected
protektado
by
ng
Pakbarma associations.
Pakbarma. Kanlungan.
There is 500 hectares released to the municipality of Magsaysay.
Komunidad sa Magsaysay. Hindi na
No
makukuha
other
ng
person
ibang,
can get them,
halimbawa,
even if they
bibili.
want to buy them,
Bawal ibinta
because it
iyon.
is prohibited to be
Basta
sold.
halimbawa, kami ang
If we
nagkukultiba,
cultivate the land,
yun
it
ay
is like
parang
it is our
sarili
own.
natin namin.
Nasa
The land we
yung
are
aming
tilling is still only
sinasaka
under
ay sa
196.
196 pa. Kumbaga,
In other
ang
words,
sa amin
we're
lang
only
pinangahawakan
holding the
ay
CLOA or
lupa.
Certificate of Land Ownership
Na sinasabi
Awards,
nga nila,
which they say
hindi
is not a
pa naman
guarantee that we
sigurado
already
na
own the land.
Sa amin talaga.
I have a small piece of land that I am farming that is helping our livelihood. I also have equipment such as machine that is also help farming for the family.
Siyempre, pag sa isang
Of course,
magsasaka,
it is important for the
napakahalaga na may
farmer
sarili
to
kang
own land
lupa dahil iyon
because
ang
that is
iyong
our source of
pagpupunan
livelihood
ng
if you are
ikabubuhay
farming.
kung ikaw ay magsasaka.
Sa ngayon po, ang
For now,
pagmamahal
my
ko
properties
ay,
are,
mga, wala
well,
akong
I have no
ari-arian,
properties.
wala akong sariling
I don't have my
lupa.
own land.
Yung
The one I
pinipigilan
live
ko
now
ngayon
is
ay
for my children.
tinulong na yung
But I have a
problema
problem
po
because I don't have the
Wala
land
pa po
title
yung
yet.
tulo.
Ay, yung aming pagsikap,
It is our diligence and perseverance.
Hindi naman namin sarili yung
For example,
tinitirahan.
the house we live in is not our own.
Pero, binigyan kami
It doesn't belong to us, but we are given permission to raise chicken and some farm animals to augment our income.
source ng income.
Wala akong mga gamit
I
sa
have no
pagsasama.
farming
Ano,
tools.
lahat ko inuupa,
I rent them
yung
all.
yung palayan.
The rice fields,
lupa.
I have small land that can
Ikaw
be used,
dinadagan.
but when it
Pero
comes to the
pagdating sa yung
equipment,
gamit ng
to the
mga
farms, there is none. Those are all
Wala ako,
rented.
puro upa lang yun.
We are just caretakers of the land we are tilling. In other words, we are called tenants. We don't have our own farmlands. We farm other people's land. Not much in our household. We are only tilling 1/4 of the land. Only a small piece of land where you can enrich it yourself. Plant whatever you can with it. They say, if there is any vacant land, plant anything because you will benefit from it. If you let the land go idle, there is nothing to harvest. You also go hungry.
Una, 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 una,